Rabbi Harry, I want you to listen, and I want you to listen real good, because my brother's about to talk to you. Kashub, talk to him.
Cain, therefore will I cast you out of this land into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers.
Mi abotekim, Rabbi Rozenberg. Abotenu hem ratzu min Eretz Yisrael le Eretz Kam, min ha ma'arab. Wagam came hem nilkuku ba'aniyot bishbi halaka ba'aretaze via the Atlantic slave trade. So I need you to explain to me, when did that happen to you all? When did y'all have the old barzel upon that or upon that oref or upon your neck? When did that happen? It didn't happen. It didn't happen to y'all. It happened to a particular people after they were scattered. So that's something to be noted and understood.
Showing unity, bringing forth mysteries of Israelite history, showing and proving who we are biblically, exposing false philosophies, keeping our eyes on the prophecies. Maccabees TV, showing unity, bringing forth mysteries of Israelite history, showing and proving who we are biblically, exposing false philosophies, keeping our eyes on the prophecies. Children of Israel, standing firm, we go hard, proving all things to the spirit.
Family, welcome to another edition of Maccabees TV. And as you can see, I'm sitting right here, man, with two of your favorite brothers, man, in Israel, man. Got a great response from the last video. We got the brother Kashub the Danite, a veteran of Maccabees TV. And of course, we got our brother Shaahl, who was just recently seen going hard on Sunday the TV. Shalom to y'all brothers. What's going on?
Well, how you doing?
Oh, that's good. That's good. Now listen, man, I know you brothers have a lot to talk about. It's a lot of things that's going on. So let's get right down into it. You brothers are familiar that there's a debate coming up. I believe the date is March the 20th, where you have Sarah Sutton-Seti, and you have, he said his name is copywritten, so I don't think I'm allowed to say it, so I'm going to say Brother Police, you know, until further notice. The song gets sued. You have Sarah Sutton-Seti and Brother Police going up against Rabbi Rozenberg, Harry Rozenberg, and a partner to be named later, I guess. So I want you brothers to give me a brief take on what you think about that debate, you know, coming up. Do you think it's positive? Do you think it's negative? Who you rooting for? So forth and so on. Go ahead, brother.
Giving honor and praise to Yah, the creator and the maker of heaven and earth. I'm rooting for nobody. Personally, if somebody cares for my 2 cents about it, because the brother Police, you have not done correct by your people, and too many people are saying it, and you're not addressing it, to be quite candid as far as that's concerned. No disrespect to the man Sarah Seti, I asked you in 2013, how is it that you can say people never existed, then you charge the same people with plagiarism? Plagiarize is a verb. To be charged with plagiarism means you have existence, but you teach the children of Israel never existed. So until I get that question answered, or you just admit you made an error, you made a mistake, somebody told you something wrong, I really personally can't rock for you. That's just my 2 cents on that. Rozenberg, you know what it is, because you and I spoke online. You understand, maybe perhaps you wasn't trying to come disrespectful, but you probably realized, know and see, black Israelites do know something about the Hebrew, because there's no Hebrew word for Jew, because Yahuda means Judah, and Yahudi means Judite, just like Reubani in Deuteronomy 4 verse 43 means Reubenite. The E signifies the possession. ITE is the English suffix showing the possession of something, Brooklynite, so forth and so on. You understand? Harlemite. So that's how an example such as that. So to try to say, oh, it don't say Israelite right there, you're just trying to play semantics about that. And concerning the other brother, I'm gonna just pass the mic over to the brother Shaahl.
Right. Well, my upshot about the whole debate is basically, before we even get into debate on what's going to be the upshot of the debate, I would rather talk about what happened at the weigh-in. There was a lot of things said at the weigh-in that just didn't make any sense at all. You know what I'm saying? First of all, you have a brother in politics. He's gonna debate this guy on whether or not God exists or not, or whether or not God is the rightful God for black people. Now, first of all, when you analyze the whole weigh-in, the whole thing went wrong. First of all, you should have got the guy on the fact that he's not no rabbi, because the word rabbi is a Hebrew word that means my master. You could have caught him out there with that, but I can understand why you did not catch him out there on that, simply because this is what happens when you're dealing with men who engage or embrace in female apotheosis. This is what happens when you engage in that type of activity. You're not going to say the right things. You're not going to do the right things. And quite frankly, I believe that you are a tyro with regards to this particular subject and with regards to this particular debate, simply because you're not seasoned enough to deal with this man. Because, first of all, you should have told him that he's not a rabbi. Rabbi simply means my master. He's not a rabbi. He's supposed to be an Ashkenazi Jew. So where did that come about? It was the Jews, the Sephardi in Spain, that first even started calling the Jews from Germany Ashkenazi, simply because, loosely translated, the only thing the word Ashkenazi means is Jews from Germany. You could have caught him on that. That's another thing you could have caught him on. Now, with regards to the upshot of the whole debate and how I think it's going to turn out and everything, it's going to be a disaster. The best way you can win a debate with this guy, or the best way you're going to win a debate, is if you, like I said at the lecture with the brother Cesaria, like as I was saying, the only way you're going to be able, brother in politics, is going to be able to win a debate with this Mr. Rozenberg, or whatever you want to call himself, is if you take a page out of our book. And by that I mean you're going to have to tell him that he's not a Jew. If you go in there with this whole thing about being a pantheist, you're wasting your time, simply because, and speaking of which, before I even get to that, how you going to claim yourself to be a pantheist and then condemn the Israelites, saying that we believe in the book that was written by a white man, but then you embrace a religion or philosophy and ideology which was also started by a white man? First of all, pantheism, the word pantheist was coined in 1705. Thus, the religion was initiated in 1705 by one John Toland, a European by the name of John Toland. Now, what did this European believe? He believed in worshiping the universe. He didn't believe in a God in the external sense, but he believed in God in the internal sense. In other words, this man was a humanist. And he started this whole philosophy in 1705. Now, the man was also a coward, and he resigned himself to his house in his later years before he died, and he was an alcoholic. So this is the people that brother in politics is following. So how you going to condemn the Israelites for reading a book that you say was written by the white man, but you embrace a white man's philosophy and ideology? Because pantheism, like I said before, it got started with John Toland in 1705. You can simply Google this. We was always wondering, well, what exactly do this brother believe? Because he's talking about we wrong, this person wrong, this doctrine wrong. But now we know exactly what you believe. You are a pantheist that just so happened to believe in comedic science.
This is the thing. I stand here as a pantheist of the comedic science.
The two are contradictory. Now, a lot of people was wondering, well, how could I say that? What you mean is contradictory? Because first of all, contrary to what you say, the Egyptians did believe in a concept of God. They did believe in deities, and they had multiple deities. So for you to say that you don't believe in a God, or that Egyptians didn't believe in a God is totally false. Most scholars are in accord with the fact that Egyptians believed in deities. They believed in multiple deities. But you're trying to throw people off by saying that the Egyptians didn't believe in a God. That's a lie. And then you're embracing a white man's philosophy. As I said before, John Toland, pantheism is not a melanated science. It is not a science or philosophy or ideology that started from a melanated source. It came from a European. So you need to get that right, number one, before you start talking about what book we believe in and if the Bible was written by a white man. First, you got to get that right. So now the cat is out the bag. We know what you're dealing with. You're dealing with pantheism. Right. You worship the universe. What part of the universe do you worship? Because the universe consists of many different things. Do you worship black matter in the universe? Do you worship the stars? Do you worship the sun? What exactly do you worship? Oh, I forgot. The man said that he worshiped his wife. Again, like I said before, this is what you always gonna get, my brother, Dan, when you're dealing with men that embrace female apotheosis. Because when you embrace female apotheosis, this is where the confusion comes in at. You all over the place with your doctrine. So this is what happened. So here we got a guy, Mr. Rozenberg. He's gonna come here and supposedly debate you on whether or not God exists. First of all, it's a dumb debate. You cannot debate the existence of God. It's either you know he exists or you just don't. This is not, you cannot see the Most High through coercion or through a debate. You gotta see the Most High through common sense, through basic sense. Now, there was plenty of things that Mr. Rozenberg spoke about at the particular weigh-in. The man said a whole lot of things that Brother M. Politic could have caught him out there on, but once again, because he's not seasoned in the scriptures and because he is a tyro at this particular subject, this is why he didn't say the right things. Only thing he gave you was a profusion of circumlocution and stilted rhetoric by saying all this other stuff which had nothing to do with the topic at hand. Mr. Rozenberg simply asked you, what do you believe in? And he gave a long philosophical viewpoint as to what the Egyptians believe, none of which you can find in any ancient inscription. Right. So if you're going to say the Egyptians believe this, that, and the third, we want to see these inscriptions. We don't want to see your opinion. We want to see the inscriptions, the ancient inscriptions that alluded to exactly what you were saying is said, and not your own opinion. Right. So, like as I was saying before.
Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah, come on.
My question is, I have a question about that since you brought it up real quick. If the Egyptians didn't believe in a God, who the hell were they sacrificing to then? That's what I want to know. Somebody tell me who the hell were they sacrificing? Because they were sacrificing. Some of the nice sisters were sacrificing animals. Who were they sacrificing to? Go ahead.
Right. Well, they were sacrificing to many different gods. And what gets me is many times this same man, Brother M. Politic, many times he said things such as, oh, well, the God of the Hebrews is supposed to be so powerful. You mean to tell me he couldn't save his own people from getting on slave ships? He couldn't stop them from stop the white man from taking them over in captivity? Well, let's really analyze that. First of all, we're dealing with one deity, the Most High, the God of the universe, the infinite, inexplicable. So, my question to you is, since you're saying that we are Egyptians, and that we are the ancient Kemite or the ancient Cometians, my question to you is, where the hell was ISIS at when all the people was coming over here in slave ships? Where the hell was Riot? Where was Sekhmet and all the rest of these Egyptian gods? You mean to tell me now even one Egyptian god could have done anything to help us?
Where was Bess and Heru at?
But hold on, wait a minute, brother. I'm saying, you mean to tell me not even one? We worship one deity, one power. The Egyptians had many different deities. So my question to you is, since you want, I'm spinning it back on you. Where was Riot when we was coming over here on slavery? Where was Riot when Mike Brown was being killed? When Mike Brown got shot by the cop? When the brother got choked out? When Eric Gardner got choked out? Where was ISIS at? Where was these guys at? Since you want to say so much about the Hebrew guys, this, that, and the third. But see, as I said before, this is the type of statements you're going to get from people that embrace female apotheosis. Female apotheosis. And that's all you got that's going on with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, unless you take a page out of our book, and by that I mean deal with him as an Israelite will deal with him, deal with the so-called Jews, then it won't make much of a good debate at all. Simply because, first of all, he's not a Jew. You could have caught him out there on that. If you don't use Jeremiah 30 and 10, it's not going to go well for you. First of all, you could have caught him out there and simply told him that according to the scriptures and according to the prophecy, when the Jews returned to their land, there was going to be peace for them. There's going to be peace for the Jews when the Most High returned them back to their land. Ever since they went back down to Israel and set up that land since 1948, when they had the War of Independence, there's been war, mayhem, and chaos in the land of Israel ever since. He do not fit the prophecy. He cannot be the people. Revelation 2 and 9, he cannot be the people. Revelation 3 and 9, he cannot be the people. So there's many instances and many scriptures that you could have used, but because, like I said before, you're a tyro and you're not seasoned in this particular field, you're not going to know what to do. And I'm going to let you know right now, only thing he's going to do when you try to use some scriptures is go into the Hebrew on you, and he's going to show you what it says originally in the Hebrew, and that's what's going to trip you up. More so than likely, that's what's going to trip you up. But there's a lot of things you've been saying, a lot of things you shouldn't be saying, and it just ain't making no sense to your community or our community. I don't know how you could sit there and be an apostate, making all type of statements against the God of the Bible, and then turn around and want the Hebrews to help you in the debate. That makes absolutely no sense at all.
Oh, he wants the Hebrews to do what?
He wanted the Hebrews to help him.
Who were these Hebrews that he wanted to help?
Well, there was various Hebrews that he wanted to help him. You know what I'm saying? But my best suggestion to you is just go watch a whole lot of videos. There's numerous videos on YouTube where brothers are cutting so-called Jews that you can go and watch, and you better take a page out of their book, because that's your only hope you got. And as far as Mr. Rozenberg go, like I said before, Atalo Bishvelnu. I'm a Mashi Hudi Amerikayim Shakoru. Loha Anashim Be Israel. And so he knows what I'm saying. Anyway, there's a lot of things that's being said from time to time by the same brother that we're talking about, Brother in Politics, and a whole lot of others. But we're gonna get to it. I'm gonna pass it over to the brother and let him start. We're gonna come back at some things.
Giving honor and praise to Yah, the creator and maker of heaven and earth. I'm gonna ask the brother to read real quick Daniel chapter 7 verse 9 for a minute, please.
Let me know when you're ready.
King, time she got. Go ahead, brother.
Can. And I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like pure wool.
Can you please describe how his hair looked?
And the hair of his head like pure wool.
Now, I want to show this for edification purposes to some people. Now, it speaks highly of the one that's of the Ancient of Days. His hair is what again?
Like pure wool.
Pure wool. Now, can you please sit there, brother, and examine what this is saying? This is a Lux soap commercial ad that was very extremely racist. Lux is a soap making company. And on the bottom it says, won't do what? Shrink wool. They're trying to be funny and disrespectful by saying that, but you didn't realize that in the same book that our great-grandparents and many of our grandparents and grandfathers sat there in love, it speaks highly of the one that's of the Ancient of Days. It says he had hair like lamb's wool, so therefore, that goes to show you, in their kind of racist philosophy and their racist ideology, their concept and actually makes no kind of sense. Now, I want to sit there and show this picture here. Yeah, I got this offline. These are the true Jews. The part in that part is cut off, right? It says they are in mourning. Jeremiah 4 and 2. Judah is in mourning, and the gates thereof languish. This right here is part of the people that descended from the people of Esau that went in the land that Ezekiel talks about. Because it says that Ezekiel prophesied about the people of Edom, Idumea. That's these individuals right here that got the land of Israel after it said, oh snap, the land is left to us to devour. So the land of Israel was taken up in the lips of talkers. You see, and that's exactly, the talkers is the UN, the talkers is the Belfort Coalition and all that other kind of government and all of that kind of stuff, that they all came together and said, okay, well, we're going to get these people together. The lips of talkers is the protocols of Zion. The lips of talkers is Rozenberg and company. You see, so that's something to be noted and understood. So these people and these people are not the same people. So this is something to be noted and understood. They only got into that land because the true house of Israel was being ostracized and disrespected, as we see here within the West and throughout the four corners of the earth where Israel was scattered. So just something for edification purposes. So it speaks highly of the one who had hair like lamb's wool. Then we see them trying to make fun of it. This is why the man who's now politic or whatever these people want to sit there and call this individual is standing up there and taking pictures with them, having dinners with them and everything of that sort and shooting the Bible. Because the oneness of the ancient of days, spirit moved away from that man. That's why you see that. So that's all I got to say on that note.
One of the things that he said in his Flaming Fire video was, it's not going to be all this love stuff. We're not going to come in with the kumbaya, this, that, and stuff. But then you see the man and then you hugged up with all these white girls, man. You know what I'm saying? So are you really a black revolutionary, or you just doing this as a hustle? And if you're doing it for a hustle, man, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to do that right. You ain't even playing the game right with regards to hustling, because you too loose with everything, man. Especially the female apotheosis. Now, another thing that we can get into, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna need you to read a script from me, brother. Give me Deuteronomy 23:28. I mean, 50, Deuteronomy 28:56. One of the things that Mr. Rozenberg said was, as a Jew, he can go anywhere around the world, and his people will feed him, and they would give him shelter. Now, according to the prophecy, the Jews will be hating one another. He does not fit the prophecy. But again, as I said before, when you're dealing with men who embraces female apotheosis, this is what you're going to get. As I said before again, the man, because the brother in politics is a tyro and he don't understand the scriptures, this is why he couldn't catch Mr. Rozenberg out there on this particular verse. Read this, brother.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother.
It shall be what, brother?
Evil toward his brother.
Now, the scriptures say that the real Jews were going to be evil toward each other. His eyes shall be evil toward his brother. And that was talking about a meek, humble brother, where it says he was delicate and tender. A meek, humble brother, this means that the Jews were not going to be loving one another. But Mr. Rozenberg say he can go anywhere around the world, and regardless of where he go, his people will give him up, they will put him up, they will give him shelter, and they will feed him. But because brother in politics don't know the scriptures, and as I keep on saying, he's a tyro at this particular subject, this is why he didn't know how to respond to the man. Let's finish reading. Because this Mr. Rozenberg is not fitting the scriptures, and this is what you were supposed to do. But because you are a tyro at this particular subject and you don't know how to deal with this, this is why you didn't cut him on this. Read on.
And toward the wife of his bosom.
And because of the wife of his bosom. Now we could show you among Negroes how Negroes constantly hate each other. They just had a case on the news where a brother went and stabbed his own little baby, committed infanticide, and he killed the wife and her other two little daughters. So this is constantly happening amongst us because these are the curses that are upon our people. But Mr. Rozenberg, he doesn't have that happening amongst his people. As he said, anywhere he go, he will be loved by his own people. But because you are a tyro, you didn't know how to approach him when he said that. Read on.
And toward the remnant of his children which he shall leave, so that he would not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat.
Right, and that's talking about in the Babylonian captivity when our people went and started committing cannibalism, like the Most High said, because that was a curse that came upon us as a people. But once again, you were supposed to show him how he's not a Jew according to the prophecy. Get Jeremiah 30 and 10, because we could say it all day. I'm gonna read it for you. This was what brother in politics was supposed to do, but because I keep on saying, because he's not seasoned in the scriptures, he didn't know where to go at.
Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith Yah. Neither be dismayed, O Israel.
And the Most High said, don't be dismayed, Israel. And he's talking to the real Jews. Go ahead.
For lo, I will save thee from afar.
See, the Lord said he was going to save his people from afar. And he's going to bring them from all the different lands that he scattered them in. Read on.
And thy seed from the land of their captivity.
From the land of their captivity. Now, this man, Mr. Rozenberg, how did he get down into Israel? After the Balfour Declaration in 1917, that's when Britain drew up their declaration to allow them to go back down into Israel. The Most High didn't bring them there. They went there by force. And in 1948, they had the War of Independence, and they kicked the Palestinians off the land, which are people that don't belong there neither, but nevertheless, you went and took the land by unjust means. They're not fitting the prophecy. Go ahead.
And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet.
The Lord said, and Jacob shall return and shall be in rest, meaning they're gonna be at peace. They're not gonna have a Palestinian running on a bus and committing suicide by blowing themselves up. They're not gonna have Palestinians running behind them, stabbing them with knives every day. They're not living in peace, they're living in fear. So Mr. Rozenberg is not fitting the prophecy. Go ahead.
And none shall make him afraid.
And none shall what?
Make him afraid.
But they are afraid in Israel right now. So they are not the people, and they are not fitting the prophecy. And as I said before, it's chimerical how the brother Polite says that the God of the Hebrews did not help them, but yet ISIS didn't help nobody neither. And like I said before, this is what you were supposed to show Mr. Rozenberg. But the man is the tyrant. Okay, say what you want to say, bro.
Giving honor and praise to Yah. We're going to tag team if that be the case. A little bit. Give me Jeremiah 16 verse 10.
Yes, sir.
Now, Hamilim Asha Ani Adaber Eleka Rabbi Rozenberg. Ani Rotse Okali Shmoa the Kwoli. Wehu Kwore Minha Sefer Minabi Yirmiyahu.
Cain, Metabiaki.
Cain, I already had that
16,
on there. 16. Cain. Verse
Yeah.
10.
Verse 10.
Verse
10. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt show this people all these words, and they shall say unto thee, wherefore hath the Lord pronounced all this great evil against us? Or what has been our iniquity? Or what is our sin that we have committed against the Lord our God?
Nahine. Hayhudim Halavanim Atem Ovnim Atem Lo Shabartem Et Mitzvot Moshe. Atem Amortem, Atem Halaktem, but mitzvot HaTorah mean Dibre, or mean Yame Abraham ben Terak, mean Hayamim Ha'eleh. Ekahu. How is that? If you saying y'all kept the commandments from the days of Abraham, how is that possible for y'all to still be the people today? That can't be the case, because this says y'all broke them. So unless Jeremiah is a false prophet coming out of the house of Itamar, coming out of the house of the Levites, either he's fake or y'all fake. Did somebody insert this in there? Did somebody sit there and take some metuneta and wrote that inside of there too? You got to sit back and ask yourself, exactly how did this come about? Because if you're saying, for one instance, y'all the people, but then the prophecies ain't lining up with you all, then you're trying to sit there and say, oh, it came out of Kemet. We in Kemet, the segment say y'all didn't follow me. We in Kemet did Hathor say y'all didn't follow me. We in Kemet did ISIS or Osar or Osset say you didn't follow me. It's Yah that say that. So I need the brother to sit there and go, if you will, to verse 13. They're going to include it into that particular part.
Cain, therefore will I cast you out of this land into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers.
Me abotekim, Rabbi Rozenberg. Abotenu hem ratzu min Eretz Yisrael le Eretz Kam min ha ma'arab. Wagam came hem nilkuku ba'aniyot bishbi halaka ba'aretaze via the Atlantic slave trade. So I need you to explain to me, when did that happen to you all? When did y'all have the old barzel upon that or upon that oref or upon your neck? When did that happen? It didn't happen. It didn't happen to y'all. It happened to a particular people after they were scattered. So that's something to be noted and understood. Now I need two more things to be read, if you don't mind, Shaahl.
Come on with it.
Give me Devarim chapter 28:64. 28:64, Devarim, Deuteronomy. Because they try to sometimes sit there and say about the whole Egypt aspect, but we want to sit there and just explain something very, very candid concerning that particular aspect. All right? Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. 64.
Gotcha. Ready?
Yes, I am.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth, even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. even wood and stone.
Matai atem abad tem Elohim akelim eitwe eben Hayudim Matai zekwara Zero kwara la'am ka Zekwara la'amu La'am Be'eretz Jamaica Be'eretz Trinidad Be'eretz America Anaknu hishtakawanu el Siyulu Bozer Anaknu abanu et alat Mean ha eben the cobblestone, yeah, that was us. We was up there sitting up there doing that. Y'all wasn't doing that. So that doesn't sit there and fit you. See, what wound up happening, if you look at the history, the aspect of it all, right? See, this is what happened. The people scattered. This is just a demonstration of it. See, from the land, scattered into Africa, and then from here taken into the slave trade. Okay. Now, I need you to go, if you will, into the verse that we usually talk about, which is verse 68.
68?
Remember, it says in verse 64, the scattering already happened. All right? The scattering already happened, and then we're going to get to 68. Thank you very much.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, and thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies, for bound men and bound women, and no man shall buy you.
Now we want to sit there and talk about something, because see, this here is Titus, the arch of Titus that Domitian made when they was carrying the menorah and the altar and other things out of the land. Domitian set this up in 81 AD. Now we got to sit back and ask, what happened to the people? A lot of them, as we sit there and show in this map right here, scattered into the western portion. So now, it says after the scattering already happened in verse 64, it says from there they was going to be sent into captivity in ships. So Titus didn't sit there and take nobody via captive by way of ship, unless you go to Josephus' books, the Wars of the Jews in the book of Josephus. It speaks about that in book 7, where it says they was already in Egypt and then they shipped them over for the tribute over to the place called Italy or Rome. So they was already in physical Egypt, then they were shipped from there. So the Mizraim in Deuteronomy 28:68 is speaking about not the physical land itself of Mizraim, it's talking about the place of their captivity. Remember, it says the Most High said he brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. But because you don't deal with Yod Hey Wah Hey, because you don't deal with the Most High, y'all call on Ado Shem Elokeinu. We say Eloheinu with the Hey. Y'all say Elokeinu with the Kuf, because you don't want to call upon the one that Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov called upon. Because y'all not on that level. Y'all like King Ahaz in Isaiah 7. Oh, I won't ask, neither will I tempt the Most High. Because you know what you did. That's why you don't want to say the name. The high priest did not only say the name on Yom Kippur in the Holy Temple. That's another thing. King David said it on the battlefield after they was already settled in the land. So when it doesn't fit with Rozenberg's people, they will sit there and side up with the Kemet people talking about, oh, none of that existed. No, it existed. You just wasn't in its existence. That's where it boils down to that. So now, when it says going back into that particular verse, Debunking chapter 28, verse 68, I need you to read the very last part again about the word by.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, and thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bond men and bond women, and no man shall buy you.
Now, let's understand something. A lot of times people try to sit there and look at that word buy, as us as Israel, we know and understand to be the word redeem. But then they try to say, well, don't mean redeem, because the word pada means redeem. Now, when you go in your own time for time purposes, we ain't going to go all the way there, but you can on your own time. The root word kwana or kana also means to redeem when you go in Nehemiah chapter 5, verse 8. It says anaknu kwaninu. Kwaninu from the root word kwana when you deal with the lam and hey verb. Now, I'm not trying to talk over anybody's head, but I want it to be noted and understood. A lot of times they swear the black Israelites don't know anything about Hebrew. Be it they call it Lashon HaKodash or we call it Shalamim Hebrew. You actually was emphatically lied to. Ki anaknu yashanu takat morenu. Wagam ken anaknu lumadnu. And that's all I gotta say about that.
They don't know what they're talking about, man.
That's all I gotta say about that.
You know? So there's been a lot of different things, you know what I'm saying, that's been said by the so-called conscious, unconscious community. You know what I'm saying? Then you have the other brothers that's running around. You have the so-called God killer, or should I say the flying water bug killer. They on some video, and they made the statement, my brother, that the moon came from the earth. This is one of the things that the brother said. How could you be so damn stupid to say that the moon come from the earth? What was you thinking, And then the sad thing about it, you know what I'm saying, what's extremely disconsolate about the whole situation is all the other brothers jumped on the bandwagon. Said he jumped on the bandwagon. Everybody that was there that day when Sinetta did the shoot, they all start jumping on the bandwagon. First of all, you damn idiot, the moon did not come from the earth. It is a pseudoscience. Where did it come from? It came from two Europeans, William Whiteman and Donald Davis, in 1975. It was something that they created as a machination to try to offset and overthrow the people's faith. That's all it was. It is pseudoscience. The moon did not come from the earth. As the story goes, they claim that after the creation of the earth, which supposedly is 4 billion years old, 50 million years after the initial creation, an object the size of Mars crashed into the earth, and as a result of the crash, the impact and the debris from the impact went out into orbit, and that debris eventually formed the moon. How damn stupid could you be? And what's really disconsolate about the whole situation is you never tell the people that this is a theory that came from Europeans. And a lot of people, they always wonder why I always talk about European regurgitations and things of that nature, simply because every time they give you information, they never tell you where the information came from. That's a pseudoscience. Why are you running around with Euro science, Euro pseudoscience? That's not a melanated science. That wasn't a black scholar that came up with that particular concept. So that's off. You don't know what you're talking about. The moon did not come from the earth. The moon is the creation from the Most High. That's where the moon comes from. Then you said another thing, actually, you got these idiots still running around believing that the pyramids were created to be aligned with your Sirius constellation, or to be aligned with the stars. This is another pseudo lie. Where did it get started? It got started in 1983 by another European by the name of Robert Bovell. He started this whole concept simply because he and one of his friends and their families went up into the Arabian plateau, and just so happened because they was looking at the stars, they came up with this whole concept about the pyramids being aligned with the Sirius star constellation. Another pseudoscience created by Europeans. But then, like as I said before, the disconsolate thing about it all is you always throw this garbage information out to the people, and you never tell them the origin of this information. You never tell them where it initiated. It's not coming from a melanated source. So you're creating nonsensical paradigms for the people to follow, and you're not even telling them where it comes from. And yes, the pyramids were nothing other than tombstones. That's all the pyramids were created for, was to be tombstones. That's all they were. That's all they ever been. For men who, when they lived, had inflated egos. And this myth about them never finding bodies in the pyramids, first of all, they had what was called grave robbers or grave diggers. And they used to go into the pyramids and rob the pyramids for the gold and all the wealth that the pharaoh had prior to dying. And they would rob all the stuff out of the pyramids. That's what they were doing. So quite naturally, you won't find they didn't find no bodies because the bodies, everything was looted. But at the same time, it's a myth when you say that no body was never found in a pyramid, simply because in 1837 there was a body found in one of the smaller pyramids, thereby signifying the initial use or the rightful purpose of the construction. So you guys are just all over the place. You don't know what you're talking about. The moon did not come from the earth. Then no object the size of Mars crashed into the earth and it went back out into orbit, and that's what created the moon. So y'all need to stop all these lies, man. It's sad how y'all keep running around telling our people all this nonsense and got them stuck on all this other stuff. And then you running around with all this Cro-Magnon, man, and this evolutionary nonsense. Talking about we was here, man was here for 195,000 years. Well, when you finally show us an ancient Egyptian inscription stating the same thing, then we can start believing something like that. And until then, we don't want to hear nothing about 2 million years, 200,000 years, and all this other garbage. Because again, it's nothing but pseudoscience. And another thing, if y'all claiming we've been around for so long, and I'm talking to the so-called Amun-Ra squad now, if you're claiming that we've been here for so long, and we're the originators of the planet Earth, and of science and all this other stuff, then why the hell are we in the predicament that we're in right now? I mean, if we were so great, you mean to tell me we couldn't leave no ancient inscription stating that man been here for over 200,000 years? You mean to tell me out of all the science and all the knowledge that the ancients had, and you have all the Europeans nowadays saying that man been here for this long, so why haven't they found any ancient inscription in Egypt that states that man been here for 195,000 years or 200,000 years? When are they going to find an ancient inscription that add credence to what they're saying today? It hasn't been done. So you're dealing with pseudoscience. That's all you're dealing with. And a whole lot of other madness. Scared, brother.
So you. And you know, if I may say real quick, you know, I'm always hearing about this Egyptian science, you know, this medical papyrus and all this other stuff that you hear, but yet the Egyptians' life expectancy was barely above 30.
Okay.
So, I mean, all the knowledge that they had, man, they couldn't even figure out how to live to be 50 years old, you know?
Right.
But that, I'll save that for another time.
Exactly. And let me say this too. Since we on the topic, you have a lot of different things that's being said by all these so-called Kemetic people. Now you want to talk about Kemetic science, and they were so great in doing this, that, and the third. And then you want to talk about the European science, this, that, and the third. I'm going to make the statement right here today that if indeed that we are Egyptians, as y'all claim we are, then the God of the white man is far greater than the God of the Egyptians. Because were that not the case, we wouldn't be being ruled over by the white man for so long. So I'm making the same, if we are the Egyptians like y'all claim, then the God of the white man is greater than the Egyptian God. Simply because your God can't stop the white man's God from putting you into captivity, since you want to believe that particular thing. So that's a statement that I'm making right now. Why isn't your God greater than the white man's God? Because since you say the white man don't know this, he don't know that, and the Egyptians supposedly came up with all the science, but yet your God couldn't stop the white man from putting you into captivity. So what are we really saying here? We're dealing with a bunch of pseudo nonsense.
And romanticism.
Exactly.
Because that's really the majority of these dudes that teach about Kemet. They just romanticize the damn thing. Nobody's denying the greatness of Kemet at certain times throughout history. None of us deny that. But the romanticism has to go, man. It's way too many lies and pseudo garbage being taught.
Okay.
Now these guys are even trying to fit evolution into Kemet. It's like these guys just don't know where to stop.
Too many embellishments.
Yeah.
I want to see an ancient Egyptian inscription that says man evolved from apes, not your spin. Only thing you're doing is putting your spin on it.
Well, you know, he don't like that word apes. He likes to say hominids.
Right.
He likes to use fancy terms like hominids,
right.
when he's pretty much, or primates.
Right.
You're saying the same thing.
Or troglodyte. Why don't you just say chimpanzee, man?
It's all the same thing.
Just running with total nonsense. We didn't evolve from no damn apes. We were created from the Most High. That's what we was created from, not no apes. And I don't think nobody in their right mind, no conscious person that is truly politic or sapient would believe this nonsense.
Well, you know, I must say, unfortunately, I was having a conversation with somebody about this the other day, The problem with the majority of the conscious community, and I'm going to say the majority, and I know it's not going to be popular, but it is what it is. The majority of the conscious community doesn't study. You know what their studying consists of? Their studying consists of memes and watching videos. Watching videos of somebody else teaching. They're not going back and fact checking nothing, because if they did, half the dudes that get on these different channels would not spout the garbage that they spout if they really felt like the people was going to go back and check what it is that they're saying. They spout that because they know nobody's going to check them on it. That's why.
Okay. And you know, another thing that's extremely, disconsolate and also chimerical is the fact that how is it that after all, and I'm about to touch on something that you just said, Brother Daniela, because after all the information that we've been putting out over the years about the Israelites being black people, we showed you how Joseph in the Bible was mistaken for an Egyptian. We showed you in the scripture how the Apostle Paul was mistaken for an Egyptian. How Moses was mistaken for an Egyptian.
Christ.
Thereby signifying that they had to be black people. And he said out of his own mouth that the Egyptians and Ethiopians were brothers. But the fool forgot that in the scriptures, when you read, the Most High tell you, he compared his people to the Ethiopians, thereby also signifying that they had to be black people. But you still find a reason to gainsay, which proves right then and there that you people are not really about truth. You're just about getting a spiritual orgasm.
That's it.
Go ahead, brother.
Giving honor and praise to Yah, creator and maker of heaven and earth. Well, laying back on what this brother said, I got this book here, right? 100 Amazing Facts about the Negro by J. Rogers. Page 14 is partly entitled Jews and Ethiopians. Interesting, the man just mentioned it, right? It says, the characters of the Bible are largely Negroes. Now, the largely percentage of the people in the Bible were who? The children of Israel. They're the stars of the Bible. Take the children of Israel out the Bible, you really don't have much, okay? So, it says that they were Negroes. Then he goes on to say this. Tacitus, Roman historian of 90 AD, says that the Romans of his day popularly believed that the Jews, which then abounded in Europe, came from Ethiopia, the land of the blacks. It's right here. So this is dated from the era when J.A. Rogers wrote this. Now, let's sit there and see, this is actual factual information. He's actually cited Tacitus. Now, Tacitus actually was a pro-Roman, because when he spoke about Pompey going inside of the temple, they actually disrespected the house of Israel by saying, oh, the religion of the Hebrews is boring. They don't have no statues and no pictures. So he's dealing unbiased when you're citing somebody who doesn't even respect what your culture's about. Okay. And still able to sit there and state, oh, okay, these people are from the land of the blacks. Now, in light of that, I have a book here entitled The Ancient Black Hebrews and Arabs. Now, on this particular page right here, we see a picture of what they happened from Lachish. Lachish was in the land of Judah. Okay, this is during the era when Sennacherib, the king of Assyria, went against the tribe of Judah. We spoke about this before on Maccabees TV. So that's what that's showing right there. So now you got an image showing somebody who I personally, in my studies, say, may he rest in peace, looks like ODB, which starting from the Wu-Tang Clan. You know, when brothers start their box braids and they put the rubber bands there to get the little afro puffs, that's what my man here looks like, at least to me. All right, that looks like some hair like Lansville that he's about to braid up something serious. But he unfortunately got captured as a captive before he was able to do so. So, taking these two particular authors, right, let's now see what this particular character has to say in this beloved book in the so-called conscious community. They love Chancellor Williams, hard body. But let's just sit there and see what he said on page 337 of this book. He says, in quote, the Hebrews and the Arabs were both white Semitic peoples. That's what he said right here. Right here where my index finger is. They were white Semitic peoples? How in the world is that possible when you have Shemitic languages spoken in current day Ethiopia, such as Amharic? Their languages don't go back to the Shemite people. So how do you sit there and trace the two such as that? No, that doesn't work. But it does work when you're trying to sit there and when you're dealing with the aspect and the concept of needing a lot of these. See, that's what this is. This will sit there and change somebody's mind in their publication.
Okay.
You'd be amazed at what people will do for that.
And let's not forget, brother,
All right.
we also dealing with men that engages or embraces female apotheosis. So this is what happens when you deal with men that engages in female apotheosis. This is the type of things that they're going to say because they're too busy worrying about the woman. You know what I'm saying? Worshiping the woman.
That kind of concept is, for layman terms, henpecked and broken. Women today will sit there and call those kind of men thirsty, desperate, and they don't even respect those kind of men that's like, I like you, I like you, I like you. She knows if you like her or not. You ain't got to keep on saying it again and again. You wind up becoming a pest to her.
Okay.
You wind up becoming a nuisance to her. If you like her and she like you, you can sit there and say that. But to say that she's God, there's something wrong with that. And then you sit there and see the people who keep on trying to big up that kind of concept. These are the same kind of people who don't want to be the alpha male. These are the same kind of people who talk about the Mossad, who are Hamites in Kenya, that is legendarily told if they get killed, they run after you until they kill the person who kills them. That's one of the legends that they say of the Mossad people, or the Maasai people actually that live in Kenya.
Right.
You see, so I want to sit there and just let that be noted and understood. The Maasai and the Mosai are two different people. Mosai or Mosi is further west as you go toward Mauritania and everything of that sort. But getting back to the subject matter of this character right here, he says, but the white Jews, parentheses Hebrews, and the white Arabs remain exactly what they always were, white. So this is right here in the book. So are you saying then that this beloved author and these two beloved authors are actually mistaken? You notice Chancellor Williams citing that, never sit there and make any mention of that. In the same book, he disrespected Elder Ben Ami, may he now rest in peace, talking about some American Negroes went over to the land of Israel. Now, I'm about to conclude and just break this down right here. They argue with UPK, right, about the land of Israel physically being in the continent of Africa, right? But let's show this here. Let's just hypothetically say, due to the fact that tectonic plate that's in Jerusalem also is in Cairo, which is true. So geographically, you want to sit there and say that's in the same land mass. So if we're saying that we're part of that continent, but particularly a particular place in that continent, how you going to say we Sambos are wrong for that? You want to claim the whole place. We're trying to be specific. But we're wrong because we're saying that we're part of the same place that you said is our home in the first place. No, what it is you don't want Torah. Shalom. That's all I got to say on that.
And just to let me back off you just a little bit, getting back to the female apotheosis. First of all, brother in politics used to say the black woman flat out is God. That's what he used to will say. But now let's really analyze that. Then he starts saying, brother, I only mean that in a colloquial sense. Bullshit. There is no colloquial sense. The only reason why you start saying you mean it in a colloquial sense is simply because you was called upon on that. You got called out for that. Initially, you literally believed that you worship your woman. You really was saying you worship your woman. But now it's in a colloquial sense. It's either you worship your woman, man, or you don't, man. Get away from the female apotheosis. How the hell you gonna be running around claiming to be a player, this, that, and the third, and then you run around talking about you want to worship them? You don't know what the hell you want to do, man, in summation. And so with that, with regards to the upshot of the debate, it's gonna fail. The only thing polite could do, he could do nothing against the truth but for the truth. If you take a page out of our book and watch us and deal with them as we would deal with them, then you will walk through the debate with no problem. But if you go up there with that pantheist nonsense, it's gonna be terrible. And it's gonna just be disgusting. Even if you win in the debate, it's not gonna be interesting. And that's all I gotta say.
And you know, even if he wins, don't think that real Hebrews or real Israelites are going to give you any credit.
Right, as I said before.
As far as we're concerned, he's still pseudo.
Even if you do beat him, don't think that it doesn't reflect on us at all. It has absolutely nothing to do with us. And you know that. We don't have to mention that.
Yo, you have something you want to pull out of that book before we go?
Oh, with regards to the Egyptians, yes. Because one of the things about the Egyptians is the Egyptians were actually, they were confused about who they worshiped. They didn't know whether Ra Ra had a father or a mother. Well, we're gonna show you according to their own books. First on one hand they say he's self-begotten, and then on the other hand, you brother mind reading this for me, bro?
All right.
Page 58. We're gonna start at everything that's highlighted. Start from V, right there.
Show the cover of the book real quick.
This is called this book is called The Egyptian Religion by Sir Wallace Budd.
Right.
We're gonna go in here and show you how the Egyptians were confused.
Right.
And how when I pointed this out, didn't know how to answer the question. Read on, brother.
The company of the gods rejoice at thy rising.
Now stop. It said the company of the gods rejoice at thy rising. Who is this talking about? The chief deity of the Egyptians, Ra. Read on.
The earth is glad when it beholdeth thy rays.
Now let's talk about the sun. The earth is glad when it beholdeth thy rays. When the sun come up in the morning, the earth is glad. Read on.
The peoples that have been long dead come forth with cries of joy to see thy beauties every day.
Every day. Tell me when the sun come up. Go ahead.
Thou goest forth each day over heaven and earth, and art made strong each day by thy mother Nut.
Because by who?
By thy mother Nut.
Now this is talking about the god Ra. It said the god Ra had a mother named Nut. But now, when you go to the next papyrus on page 57, read everything that's highlighted, brother. Let's see.
Hail.
It's a contradiction or not. Read
Hail
on.
Ra.
Hail who?
Ra.
Now this is talking about the same deity, the sun god Ra. Read on.
Thou who art Ra, Hermachis.
Hamachis, read on, that's the name, go ahead.
Thou divine man-child, heir of eternity.
Heir of eternity, it's talking about their God Ra, go ahead.
Self-begotten.
Self-begotten, hold on, wait a minute. Self-begotten and what else?
And self-born.
And self-born, but when we read the other page, it said he had a mother named Nut. So either the Egyptians were confused about their deities, or they just didn't know what the hell he was translating. How could he be self-begotten or self-born when he has a mother? Read on.
King of the earth.
King of the earth, go ahead.
Prince of the underworld.
Prince of the underworld, go ahead.
Governor of the regions.
The chief deity, Ra, go ahead.
Of Orket. That is to say, the underworld.
The underworld, go ahead.
Thou didst come forth from the water. Thou hast sprung from the god Nu.
The god Nu. Now he has a father. Which brings me back into this thing. This is another reason why Brother M. Politic named his organization New Covenant. And the reason why he spell it N-U as opposed to N-E-W is because he's taking a page out of his spiritual father's book, and he's saying that he's the father of Ra. He's putting a spin on it. This is where you get the new spell N-U from, because he's saying that he is Nu, the father of Ra. Go ahead.
Who cherished thee and ordereth thy members. Hail, God of life, thou Lord of love. All men live when thou shinest. Thou art crowned king of the gods.
So now you know it's talking about the sun god Ra, because all men live it when thou shinest, and it was talking about God. But the point we wanted to make is, does Ra have a mother? And how could he be self-begotten and self-born when he has a mother named Nut? Give me a break.
All right, y'all. So, I mean, we said a lot. We covered a lot tonight. So, you know, do you brothers have anything you want to say in closing? I know, Moreh, your book is out. I see people emailing you for your book. Talk about that really briefly.
Okay, the book, brother, giving honor and praise to Yah that you was referring to is a book called Deuteronomy 28, The Condition of the Blacks. Anybody who is interested in that book, it is available via email. My email address is kashubhut@gmail.com. KASHUBHUT@gmail.com. You can email me and I would forward you the PDF of the book and everything of that sort. And I'm open to constructive criticism as well.
All right. Well, I say support Hebrew scholars. You know, we have some Hebrew scholars amongst us. Brothers writing books. Yourself, Nasi Yashuvel, your brother Shaahl on the way, and maybe one or two from me too. We'll see how that goes. You know, I gotta finish it, man. It started, but I gotta finish it, man. All right. What about you, brother Shaahl? You know, you used to write that. Hey, the brother should all.
I have books coming out,
That's
and
right.
I still have to get them reprinted. But I have many books coming out pretty soon.
All right. So with that, family, we're gonna say shalom. It's getting late. We hope you enjoyed, and you definitely will see these brothers back again soon on Maccabees TV. Shalom.
Oh.